I love like green and red together. You all know I love red in my compositions. Just gonna use these two elements here to create like half and half. And then there's like a blind in the like window of the car too. Sometimes a little bit tricky when you're using flash because it can hotspot on like a car or whatever, or a surface like a window. But the L35's flash is kind of offset and it's really strong too. So apparently, like I've heard people say that's why the photos look so unique as opposed to like other built-in flashes in cameras and stuff. But there's definitely something special about this. Like honestly, it's a bloody pain to use and like it's all taped up. Every single one of these that we own has an issue, but when you shoot with it, you're like, wow, there's just, yeah, there really is something special about this camera. I know there's like a million YouTube videos titled that, but it's actually true for this camera. Okay. Sweet.
This video is sponsored by Ikigai Film Lab.
Celebration, 3 years on YouTube, party time. It's time for a celebration photo walk, and today I will be using the Nikon L35AF because I am celebrating 3 years of my YouTube channel. It has gone super fast and I'm really excited to be doing a photo walk with the camera that made me famous. It didn't make me famous, but if you search this, you're likely to find Lucy Lumen. And I get a lot of messages about this camera, how to fix it mainly because it's actually got a lot of issues. So we're just being very nostalgic here and we're gonna walk around, take some photos, get back to basics and kind of how everything got started. I've got my camera loaded up with Ektar 100, which is one of my favorite films, and it's one I actually haven't been shooting very much anymore. And I'm excited to capture some photos with that film stock and a camera, return to form, let's go. Hopefully the camera doesn't break or malfunction throughout this photo walk, but we have a backup in the car. Sounds so good. So because I'm shooting Ektar, I really want to try and photograph some bright colors so that I can really show off the saturation. If you haven't used Ektar before, I highly recommend. It just gives such a cool look. Look good on Ektar. So I don't really use point and shoots as much as I used to. When I started the channel, I was like predominantly using point and shoots, and that was like very much part of my aesthetic, and it still is, but I have definitely changed in terms of like what kind of gear I'm using because I'm doing a lot more client work. So I've switched to using SLRs, still with a built-in flash and still that direct flash look, but it's very hard with point and shoots with like minimum focusing distance and autofocus hit rate. So I have steered away from them, but I do still love them and they're just so simple and easy, and I just think that they really push you to be creative as well because they are so kind of minimal. Since starting the channel, I have really grown as a photographer. Obviously now it's my job, whereas when I started it was very much like a hobby, and I've really seen that kind of flip, and I have 10% of the time for personal photography and a lot less time for YouTube, and pretty much 90% of my time is like work photography and video, which I really enjoy, but I do miss doing these photo walks and sharing this kind of stuff with you. So this is definitely where I see the channel going from now on, rather than, you know, pumping out a video every week. We're going to put our time into doing like a photo walk video like this. This looks kind of cool here with the red and then like the sky. I might see if I can then use the flash to kind of fill it in a little bit. Yeah, I'm not really sure if it's gonna come out as I expected because this is 35mm focal length, so kind of wide. Like I much prefer to compose when it's like a tighter crop, and on an SLR it's so much easier. But in saying that, a lot of the time I'll take a photo like that and I'll be like, because it's really hard when you're using a point and shoot with the frame lines, like you're kind of just winging it. But then when you see it, you're like, oh, like sometimes you're just like, banger, and then that's like exciting, whereas with an SLR it's a lot more predictable. My hot take on point and shoots. So it was super sunny earlier on, and it's kind of like going in and out of the clouds, but that's good because I got my flash to make everything pop. So I can see these little, I don't know what they are, pink kind of plants against a white wall, and stuff like that's worked for me in the past. And I think when you're starting off shooting a roll, it's good to just kind of bash out a few frames and get your confidence up. I normally find like the latter half of a roll is always better than like the first half. So I have other examples of using greenery with the flash like this. And it's kind of something I've kind of stolen from Ren Hang, who's one of like my favorite photographers. So he did that, but he included people. So I've just taken like a portion of that sort of style and then applied it to a walk around kind of style of photography. And if you don't know Ren Hang, or if you do, or just, you know, you like photography, you should listen to the new Emulsions podcast where they discuss his work and talk about like his career and everything. It's super interesting. I'll link it below. Just like a little bit of a different way to like photograph like foliage and flowers, which is something that we all like to photograph, but you see it in that very natural, like nice light, like lots of bokeh kind of way. So I like to just flip that and do it in a very stark, flash, flat kind of way that almost makes it look a little bit kind of like alien, which is the vibe I get from Ren Hang's work. So yeah, I'm trying to evoke those vibes. So I would say the biggest change in my photography from when I started the channel 3 years ago to now is my lab. So when we started the channel, we were just using like a run-of-the-mill kind of same day turnaround lab. They, you know, were fine, but the scans were always, you know, just subpar, and we really had to spend a lot of time in post fixing them up. And it did make me feel like, you know, maybe my photography isn't that good. And then when we started using Ikigai, which came off the back of a lot of recommendations from people in like the film community, I feel like I really started to take myself seriously because they were taking my work seriously, with the scans just being so good. Getting high-res scans as well makes a huge difference, and that opened me up to be able to sell like prints and do other things with my photography and just really give me a lot of confidence. So now I'm at a point where I am photographing for work, which kind of makes it even more like important, I guess, or you just feel the pressure. So having them on your side is just so great. I know that they're gonna get the most out of my film, and film is expensive. So you don't really wanna be handing it over to someone who doesn't care about it as much as you do. And I really find with Ikigai, they're just such a reliable and dedicated team. And I love that they stand up for the film community, and they place a lot of importance on like transparency in the industry, and they're not afraid to stand up and speak on that, because I think it's really important. I also love their order form. It is like super, super, super easy. You can see a reel that we made for them of how to use it, and it's just so seamless. And I think they really put a lot of time into like their processes and what they offer to make it as easy as possible for the consumer. I know there's people watching all over the world, but I'm sure you're interested to see what film labs in Australia are doing. So definitely hit the link in the description and pop on Ikigai's website, and you can read all about their sustainable approach to film photography, because we all know there are a few issues in that realm. And yeah, they're doing a really cool recycling program with like the little plastic film canisters, and then turning that into products for film photographers. And you can see a little map of all the places in Australia that are sending in their canisters. And I just think like initiatives like that are happening in other places in the world, but not in Australia, is really, really cool that they're sort of pioneering that here. And it makes me really proud to be an Ikigai customer. And they are sponsoring today's video, obviously, but I am a super regular customer, and I think that they are really putting their money where their mouth is by supporting film photographers like me to create content like this for you guys to watch for free. So a huge thank you and shout out to them. So yeah, go give them a follow, say hello, check their website. And if you are in Australia and you're looking for a lab who is dedicated, good at what they do, has attention to detail and won't let you down, then try Ikigai. Rhymes. So this area is like right by the beach and it's like super rich. It's like expensive as hell now, but Lux used to live just over there, like back in the day in like a share house. He used to just living the dream, paying like hardly any rent, and now everything here is just selling up and is really expensive. So this building here that I took a photo of has like an old sign, probably from like the 60s, 70s, 80s on the Gold Coast. And there used to be a lot of apartment blocks like that with signs like that. And it's something I've talked about on the like early days of the channel, and it used to be something that I was photographing really regularly as maybe a project, but it sort of dropped off a little bit. But I have started back again, and I actually put together a little series on my print shop where you can see them all together, called postcards. I did get them printed as little postcards for myself as well, just to kind of like, you know, document, like I grew up here and, you know, every time I photograph one of these, it like, you know, a couple of months later it's gone. And it's a real hot topic where I live because, you know, everything's getting knocked down and built up. Obviously, there's nothing you can do about it, but it's nice to just document these old signs. And it feels right to do that on film as well. Like there's like nice unison between like the era of these buildings and then film, obviously, like the links to nostalgia. So yeah, it's something I want to keep doing and have, just even if it's like a little personal project. I think something that's hard with this kind of style of photography, like the walk around style, is, you know, it's kind of like feast or famine. Like you walk and you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden you hit on a spot and there's like 10 or 15 like, you know, different things for you to photograph. So I try to not let it bother me too much and just like enjoy being outside, enjoy like the exercise you get when you're on one of these photo walks. And yeah, I just go out with the intention of like finishing the roll, because I feel like otherwise they just stay in cameras. So those are the kind of goals I set for myself when I go out and do this. And YouTube has really helped because I haven't been doing as many YouTube videos lately, and I have noticed that I haven't been shooting as much personal work. It's always for work, like client work. So yeah, YouTube could be a great tool like that for pushing you to kind of have a reason to do your personal work. And I think it's not really spoken about that is such a pro of YouTube. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it and have met so many people through it in the 3 years that I've been on the platform. And I've learnt so many skills too, and so has Lux, and that's helped us in our professional career too. So I really owe so much to YouTube, and I still get super nervous to talk on camera. Well, not nervous, but like, I'm like, what do I say? I'm so nervous to cross the road too. So any female photographer that is watching, or male photographer who wears makeup, I always get like makeup on the back of my cameras and have to like rub it in afterwards. And I'm just wondering if that happens to anyone else. Or maybe I'm just sweaty and it's all coming off. But yeah, I'll like press my nose up against the camera and then have like makeup, and on my other cameras it's like actually like worn into the plastic. So there you go. Might take it without the flash actually, because there's like the palm tree is nice. Like the shadow of the palm tree. we'll see how it comes out. I don't know if you guys have seen my other videos on the L35AF, but I have a few. But one of the biggest tips is like, if you want the flash to come on, if you want to like force it on, just cover the lens. Your hand should do it, and then just half press the button down. Oh my God. There we go. And it just pops up. So you could do it with like your t-shirt or something like that, and then it's on. I'm gonna take a photo of these bins here because it wouldn't be a Lucy Lewis video if I didn't take a photo of a bin or some kind of trash piled up somewhere. That has also been one of the things I'm famous for. So much of this style of photography is kind of luck too. Like, I'm always looking for colors and I rely on just the things around me to bring that color. So for example, there's like a balcony over there and there's a towel hanging over the balcony, but it's a boring color. It's like the same, oh, not those ones, that one over there, but those ones too. So like, yeah, the towel is, you know, if the towel was red and it was on its own and it was isolated, like that would make a really great photo and composition. So you are really reliant on like what's kind of going on around you and where you are and what you happen to stumble across. But like, that's kind of the exciting part. For me, it feels like the same feeling as like secondhand shopping or like going to, you know, a record store and flipping through things, trying to find something, like collecting things up. That's what this style of photography feels like to me. And I get a real thrill out of it. Finding red towels out in the world. I feel like that's like very much like a George Byrne or a sorbet weather kind of photo with like the symmetry. I tried to get the, whatever that is, umbrella thing in the middle. And I always find that that's off, but I just adjust it in post in Lightroom or like crop it a little bit if I've got like, say, the security camera that's on the, or like the pot plant that's on the side of the balcony. And I think that's fine to crop. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You don't need me to tell you, but my personal opinion, especially if you're shooting with point and shoots, like you can't really see what you're getting. So I like to do a little crop or a little straighten just to, you know, make the photo more striking and make it really, you know, slap the way that I thought it would when I took it. Too much talking. The holy grail of like vintage, old nostalgic buildings and signs is right over here. And I've photographed it so many times, but you know, I can't walk away from it. I have to take a photo of it. Like, you know, the memes with the film photographers with like covered cars, like this is my version of that. A lot of people have photographed it. I hope it stays there forever. It's just so primo. Yeah, there's quite a few different compositions to get it from, like angles. I think I've gotten them all, but I don't think I've shot it with the L35. So let's go. That's like, people were asking for you to be in the video and like, you can just be like, my shadow's in the video. All right. Maybe I should take another one. I worry that one day we'll come here and it won't be here, so. Normally this is like the last place we come, so I like finish my roll off here. Just like looks so good. It's gonna look so good on Ektar with the skies like super blue. Love that. Oh, I just scored big time. It's like this old church, parish. I went down the side and there was some like red flowers. And then I walked around the other side and there was like some chairs. Sounds really uninteresting, like empty chairs. And then there was like all these pavers lined up, like stacked up. And then there was like a weird like rubber glove just like thrown in a bush. Like it's just, yeah, really good. I used the flash for most of it. Probably took like 6 or 7 shots there. So good, love that. I finished my roll. So gonna head to the post office, send this to the folks at Ikigai Film Lab. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's video and making it possible. Make sure you check out Ikigai in the description below. And thank you so much to everybody for watching the channel for 3 whole years. This has been a real journey and I have done a lot of different things on YouTube and I haven't sort of stuck to one thing. But the thing that I like doing the most are videos like this. So taking it right back to the beginning, doing photo walks, talking about the photos more than the cameras and not sensationalizing things, which is really easy to do on YouTube, especially when you're trying to make it your full-time job. You really do need to sort of play the game. But that's kind of not really where I'm at with YouTube at the moment. So I am looking forward to bringing you more sort of slower paced videos like this that are, yeah, just how the channel started off and what I always wanted it to be. So comment below, let me know if there's like specific cameras you want me to use on a photo walk or parts of my photography that you'd like me to touch on, like aspects of photography, composition, subjects, like long-term projects, all those kind of things, because I am really interested in the creative side of it. And I really want to make videos for the people and not just like add to the noise of what's going on in the world at the moment and sort of online in the photography sphere. These videos tend to not perform as well because they're not sensationalized, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm not in it for that. And I have, you know, so much to work on in my professional job now. So this is a really nice creative outlet. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been watching, commenting, and has stuck with me through all the iterations of the Lucy Lumen YouTube channel. So yeah, thanks guys. I really appreciate it.